This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
Hi, I'm Cindy Harris. Welcome to Easy Entertaining.
My family is so happy when I make this for dinner. They just love it. It's my spaghetti carbonara. Now, since I'm going to be building my carbonara in this bowl, I'm going to go ahead and place it in my oven on warm just to get it heated up. Then I'm going to get a pot of water boiling for pasta. Now, once the water is boiling, I want to season the water with a little bit of salt. That'll help give some flavor to the pasta. So I'm going to put the salt right in, and then I'm going to get a half a pound of spaghetti. Now, I break it in half, and then I use some tongs to kind of move the pasta around in the water. And I'm going to let this cook for about 10 minutes. Now in my 12-inch saute pan, I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons of olive oil and put that on a medium-high heat. And then I'm going to get about 8 to 10 ounces of thick sliced bacon, and I'm going to cut that into about 1/2-inch size slices. Then I'm going to take that bacon and I'm going to put it into the hot olive oil and start cooking it up. Now, while the bacon is cooking up, I need to get my cheeses ready. And what I do is I get a 1-cup measuring cup. I put about 3/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese, and then I put 1/4 cup of Romano cheese. Now, I buy the pre-sliced and pre-shaved cheeses, but you can certainly grate it yourself if you like. And then I want to get 3 cloves of garlic, and I want to put those through a mincer and put that in with my cheeses. Now, if you've not worked with Romano cheese before, it's a really strong smelling cheese, but don't worry, it tastes really good in this sauce. Now I'm going to go and check on my bacon. It's starting to cook up, but it's not browned enough yet. So I'm just going to let that cook a little bit more, and then I'm going to go and kind of give my pasta a stir as well. Now we're going to go back to our measuring cup with our cheeses and garlic, and I'm going to get 3 eggs. And you'll notice I'm going to crack them one at a time into a little bowl and then put them into the measuring cup. And I do that because I don't want any shells to get in with my mixture there. So once I get all 3 eggs into there, I'm going to take a fork and I'm going to kind of mix everything up. I want the yolks to get all broken up, and I want the cheese and garlic to get all mixed together. Now this next part is not part of a traditional carbonara, but one year I had a ton of basil in the garden, and so I thought this would be such a good addition to the sauce that I simply can't make it without it anymore. But I take a handful of basil leaves and I roll them up almost like a cigar. And then I take my knife and I make really, really thin slices through the rolled up basil, and they call this a chiffonade. And so what ends up happening is when you're done cutting through it, you get this kind of confetti of basil. Now the pasta is done, so I'm going to take it and pour it into a strainer, but don't pour any cold water onto it. We want it to stay nice and hot. Now my bacon is nice and browned like this, but you see all that fat? I definitely don't want all of that. So I take a little bowl and I line it with aluminum foil, and then I'm going to pour off almost all of that fat. I'm only going to leave about a tablespoon or 2 in the pan with the bacon. Now once this fat has gotten solid, you can just wrap it up in the foil and throw it in the garbage. To the bacon, I want to add a little wine. So I'm going to use a Sauvignon Blanc, and I'm going to measure out about 1/2 cup of that. And then I'm going to take that right over to the bacon. I'm going to put it right in the pan. It's going to kind of sizzle up and everything, but that's okay. And I'm going to let that cook for about 4 or 5 minutes. I want the wine to reduce. Now here's the other part that's not traditional in carbonara, but it's fresh tomato. Again, if you have fresh basil, you're going to have fresh tomato. So what I do is I take 1 or 2 tomatoes, depending on the size, and I cut them into sort of a medium-sized dice. Not too small, not too big, but it really gives a nice fresh flavor to this pasta. Now we're ready to put it together. So get your bowl out of the oven. It's nice and warm. And then you're going to want to get your pasta from the sink. It should still be warm. And go ahead and put all of that in the bowl. Then you're going to immediately take that egg and cheese and garlic and put it right on that hot pasta, and that's going to start cooking those eggs, and you can see the steam coming off it. That's why the bowl needed to be hot. Then grab your pan with your wine and bacon, put that on, give it a toss. I like to put a little bit of salt on at this point, and also quite a bit of cracked black pepper, because this is something that really gives this dish a lot of flavor. And then the very last thing I do is I take that wonderful chiffonade of basil and that chopped tomato, I put it in, and I just take my tongs and start mixing it up. Well, I hope you'll give this spaghetti carbonara a try. It's so delicious, and I think your friends and family will just love it. I'll see you next time.
For more information on this episode, go to our website and visit the Easy Entertaining show notes. Also, if you have any questions or ideas for us, send us an email. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.